nobody warns you about these fat loss realities. Sean here from Fit Fusion Brotherhood. There's a ton of great information out there on how to get fit, how to lose weight, how to transform your body. They'll tell you what kind of workouts you have to do, the nutrition protocols, and every step along the way. But one of the things I don't see discussed out there enough is what it actually feels like going through the process. We're all emotional beings, and actually going through the process is much more different than actually reading about it online. So in this video, I'm going to talk about 7 things that you don't hear a lot about, but you're probably going to experience. So if you're looking for any sort of body transformation, or if you're in the midst of it, this video is for you. Number 1, don't be surprised if you feel worse before you feel better. You might want to change, but your body doesn't want to. So don't be surprised if you end up feeling hungry, cold, tired, moody, weaker at the gym. All of these things are normal when you're going through a fat loss phase. Just remember that food is literally energy, and in order to lose fat, you need to probably take in fewer calories and less food, which means your body is going to fight back. Eventually this does go away, but don't be surprised if in the beginning you feel worse before you feel better. Number 2, there will be stubborn areas that you have to deal with. Now, you probably have a vision in your head of what you're going to look like once you achieve your dream body. Unfortunately, that's not going to be a reality. And that's just because there are genetic limitations and genetic variability. So you might be genetically gifted in certain areas and not so much in other areas. So for me personally, I always struggle to get like a really vascular look, even when I'm super lean. Same thing with my abs. Even if I'm less than 10% body fat, I'll see the abs there, but I won't get that full 8-pack. And it kind of drives me crazy, but I understand what my genetic limitations are. And it's important to realize what those strengths are that you have as well. So for me, I build upper body pretty easy. I don't even train calves, and I have great calves. So not to say that once you understand your genetic limitations that you shouldn't train them, but just be aware that there are going to be certain areas for you that will be stubborn, and it may or may not be different or the same as other people. So just be aware of that. Number 3, don't be surprised if you get body dysmorphia along the way. It's just an unfair and very common truth that happens as you transform your body. 2 reasons for this. Number 1 is this is a new identity for you. This has been something that you haven't been doing for your entire life, and then all of a sudden you're switching your habits, and it takes a long time for you to actually be able to understand or cope with the new identity and reality that you're living with. And then the second aspect is because these changes are so incrementally small that you don't really notice, because every day you're not going to be able to look in the mirror and see a difference. And then by the time that there is a big difference, you've been looking at yourself in the mirror every day. So it's not going to reflect as much as other people will be able to see. So it's not to say that you aren't progressing, because you 100% are. It's just that you can't see it the same way others do. And as a result, body dysmorphia can happen. Number 4, it's going to be an emotional roller coaster. Sometimes your emotions will take over logic. And this happens to me, this happens to coaches, this happens to everyone. So for example, if you're using the scale as a way to track your progress, which is a great, not perfect, but a great metric to be able to do that, progress isn't linear. We're so used to, and we want so bad for things to just be fair and linear. We put something in, we get something out. Unfortunately, it's not that simple. There are going to be days where the scale goes up, even if you're doing everything perfect. And despite knowing this beforehand, despite being fully prepared, when it actually happens, it's going to get with you emotionally every single time. You're going to convince yourself that you're doing something wrong, that this is the one time that something's wrong with you, even though before going into it, you knew this was going to happen. So don't be surprised when you experience that emotional roller coaster along the way. Number 5, you might start to get obsessive over your workouts and your nutrition, even to the point where you start to dread rest days because you're so worried about losing all those results you've had. You start to look for every small advantage that you can get in order to progress even further. Now, unfortunately, this is not good for you psychologically, but it's also not good for you physiologically. Some of the most motivated and hardworking people I know, the problem isn't what they're doing, it's what they're not doing. And what they need to not do is more. So rest becomes very important. And as you get obsessive, as you want results quicker and quicker, you just want to do more and more and more and more. And this is not only bad for you psychologically, but also can ruin your progress. So the deeper you get into the identity of fitness, the more obsessed you can get with it. Just something to be aware of. Number 6, this one's a very important one. Motivation is going to fail you. Systems are going to save you. So in the beginning, you're probably starting off with a lot of motivation. That's the reason that you probably were able to actually initiate any sort of change. You either were really ambitious to achieving a certain goal, or you were just in a lot of pain and you wanted to get rid of whatever it is that you're struggling with. So that motivation came and you started. And then eventually what you're going to notice, if you haven't noticed yet, is that motivation goes away. Unfortunately, so many of us are just emotionally reactive, so we only take action when our emotions are serving us. So when you're feeling motivated, you take action. When you're feeling demotivated, you just basically give up all the progress you've made. And if that's what's going to be your motto, it's never going to work out for you. And systems are going to be what saves you. So systems are just having a very clear step-by-step process of what you should do day in and day out. These you want to do and make them non-negotiable. So whether or not you're motivated, you just do them. If you're always relying on motivation, inspiration, and that feeling of wanting to just work out or eat healthy, you're going to fail, because there's going to be many days where you're not feeling motivated. And if you don't have systems in place to keep you going, you're going to fail. So from day one, make sure you have good systems. Motivation's great. So we always say motivation is for going faster, but systems are what's going to get you to go longer. And then the last one here, number 7, you're never going to be done. I know a lot of us have it in our mind. If I could just get here, I would be happy. If I could do this, I wouldn't want any more. But unfortunately, the human brain is not made to be that way. We always want more. We always want to be solving problems. So the first point, if you think you're going to get happy by achieving a certain body, I can tell you that's absolutely not true. You may feel great for a few minutes, a few hours, maybe even a few days, but eventually you're going to get back to reality again. What is fulfilling is the person you become by transforming your body, all of the habits that you've now introduced, all of the obstacles that you've overcome, all of the things that you struggled with and persevered. That's what's going to make you feel fulfilled. And that's why body transformation, in my opinion, is such a beautiful thing. Not the vanity aspect of it, but the actual personal transformation that you go through. And the problem with fitness, if you're only looking for external rewards, is you can't just get somewhere and stop. You have to maintain those same habits, otherwise you revert back to where you started. So the last and perhaps most important one on the list is you will never be done. So these are things that happened to me and also a lot of my clients. So hopefully you did get some value from it, whether you're just starting out or in the midst of a body transformation. If you do like videos like this, do us a favor, like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys in the next video.